Thank you all very much, and good afternoon. It is an honor for me to be here, and some of you are probably wondering what a liberal senator from the urban areas of Denver is doing hanging out with the former Speaker of the House, Republican from Georgia. But I think education is the most critical issue facing America. I understand about the financial uncertainty that we have seen over the past couple of weeks. I also understand about the rising health care costs and the rising number of the uninsured that we have in this country. I also understand about the dependency on foreign oil and the growing lack of global competitiveness. But from where I stand, from what I see, educational transformation is the most critical issue facing this country. And Colorado mirrors the problems that we have with American education. From where I stand as the president of the Colorado Senate, I look out over a state that is 31st worst in high school dropout rate, 32nd worst on the achievement gap in reading, and 43rd worst in math. If our children of color graduated at the same rate that white children do in Colorado, we could add $5.2 billion to the Colorado economy by the year 2020. From where I stand as the senator from the most diverse district in the state, nearly half of my students don't graduate from high school. Only 25% go on to attend college. Of the ninth graders who enrolled in school in August, only 9% of them have a chance to graduate from college in 8 years. From where I stand as a senior lecturer at the University of Denver Institute for Public Policy, I see every Tuesday morning and Tuesday afternoon, and every Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon, foreign students with a dramatic, sharpened analytical skills to discuss public policy, not only in America, but from the countries and the continents from which they come from. I see foreign students with a vastly superior understanding of the global economy and the intricacies of this growing global relationships that we have. But most importantly, from where I stand, as the father of a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old just entering the public school system, I see a system that I fear may not prepare my children for the global marketplace in which they will work and live. From where I stand and because of what I've seen, I no longer make apologies for being an urban Democrat, a liberal Democrat pushing for education reform. I now ask the question, what is in the best educational interest of children? I look for solutions from whoever around the table to build a world-class 21st century education system. Other people also see in Colorado what I've seen. And so I've brought together progressive Democrats and Republicans to try and create Colorado as a world leader in terms of education reform and transformation, to increase our state test scores, our students' readiness for the global economy, and prayerfully, our country's competitiveness. We've had tremendous success in Colorado working together. We have created an easier way to create charter schools in our state and then help fund them for the facility needs that they have. We have invested in full-day kindergarten and high-quality pre-K programs, and soon, hopefully this year, if the budget works out for us, we will invest in birth to 5 programs. Last year, we created, and it was a bill that I was proud to carry with Governor Romer's son, who is now serving with me in the state legislature, to create what we call innovative schools, a concept that allows one particular school, a group of schools, or a district to look for and ask for innovative status. And all they have to do is ask for it. And what they're able to do is waive rules, waive regulations, and waive collective bargaining agreements. And reward, they have to make sure that there is innovation in the classroom and throughout the building. We are pushing for higher and world-class standards in our state. Just this week, we announced an operation that I am proud to coach here that we call Get Smart Schools. And you can look at it at getsmartschools.org. And the mission of Get Smart Schools is to dramatically increase the number of high-quality, high-performing schools available to underserved students, regardless of how you define that, whether that's low income, whether it's middle income, whether it's gifted and talented students who don't have the access for what they have been given. We want to make sure that they have programs in schools that educate them where they are. And we use new charter schools to do that, new innovation schools to do that, and in the suburbs of Denver, we have an Aurora area that has created pilot schools, and we'll use those pilot schools to do that as well. And what we want to create is a culture of high expectation from the very beginning. For us to have had this success, and for us to have the success that we are going to need to have in the future, we need an engaged citizenry. Because, and yes, this is a liberal Democrat from an urban area saying government can't do everything. Government can open up avenues here and there, but it's citizens who drive reform. It is citizens who make sure that change comes to this country. Citizens can make sure that change comes from the bottom up. Get Smart Schools is an example of that. It's just a group of educators, of leaders, entrepreneurs, some members of our philanthropic community, parents, elected officials, and just average citizens who are concerned about the state of education, not only in Colorado, but in America. They have seen what we have seen. And Ms. Keegan talked about the dire landscape. My former boss, my former governor, Roy Romer, also laid that out. We see that, and we have come together to make sure that our children have a fighting chance. The power of change isn't only at either end of Pennsylvania Avenue. It's not only at 200 East Colfax Avenue, which is the address of the Colorado Capitol. It's in neighborhoods. It's in parks. It's around the kitchen table where all of us are trying to make some decisions about how we can make sure that our kids are ready for this unique opportunity in which they are going into. Had the chance to spend a few minutes with the Wright brothers from Indiana, talking about how difficult democracy and freedom can be. And that's true. But civic engagement fulfills the promise of America. We have talked about joining PTAs. We've talked about joining neighborhood organizations. We've talked a lot about that. With the power of the web, you can certainly get involved. You should testify at committee hearings. You have the opportunity to really change how America works. When I was chairing a committee on the Senate side, and I chaired the State Affairs Committee, which was our KILL committee. So we had a lot of folks come in to testify. And it was so unique. I hear from lobbyists all the time. And lobbyists are very good at what they do because they make a lot of money doing what they do. But I will tell you, so often we changed our minds sitting at that table, listening to folks who came in to talk about how a bill would impact them if that bill were to become law. Yes, it may be difficult for some, but democracy and making it work is difficult, and that's the uniqueness of our system. As I said, I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they periodically will come to meetings with my wife at her job and me at mine when they're out of school. And so my wife has an office in our house, and I have an office in our house, and so the children wanted their own office in the house. So we cleared out space in the room, and we created an office for Malachi and Mariah to have their meetings. Yesterday, when I left, they were teaching school. So we have a desk, and I said, what we ought to do is put up a map, a huge map on the wall, I tell my wife. And then we can talk about where we have been in the world and where their ancestors come from. And so I go out and I buy a 4-foot map. My daughter's 3 at the time, and it's twice her height. So this 3-year-old says to me, Daddy, and she looks at the map. She goes, what is that? I said, that's a map of the world. And she says, the world's not that big. So often out of the mouths of our children paint the accurate picture of what we are facing today. When she graduates from college, and when my son graduates from college, the world that they are going into is not going to be that big. When I travel across the world and trying to do different things on some of these legislative junkets that we get the opportunity to go on periodically, and I see how these countries are educating their kids and constantly asking me about how we educate ours and how they have caught up so quickly. The world is not that big. So for her sake, for my son's sake, and for their generation, we all need to come together, regardless of political affiliation, to figure out how to build a better education, a 21st century education. For generations that we are never going to know, we have the opportunity to build a foundation upon which they will be able to launch themselves into this global economy. Education is the foundation upon which the greatness of this country was built. And it is also the foundation upon which we can continue to be a great country and a leader in this world. We have the opportunity, from where I stand and from what I see, the unique opportunity to build and still remain a leader in education and a leader in putting out citizens of the world. This is our opportunity, not on one side of Pennsylvania Avenue or the other, or in that building with the gold top on Colfax Avenue in Denver, but in your kitchens, in your neighborhoods, in your organizations, many of which elected officials don't know about. But this is our time to do this. Our children, my children, your grandchildren, and generations that don't even know who we're going to be or don't even know you all and that we don't know are depending on us to do this. So let us work together, regardless of party, regardless of the things that have divided us for so long, and find the solutions in this room, in our neighborhoods, and throughout this country. Thank you all very much, and God bless you.